Good morning. President Park Geun-hye unveils an ambitious plan to turn the city of Gwangju into an automotive startup mecca and hub for hydrogen vehicle production. Korea's nonverbal music production Nanta, or better known as Cookin' Abroad, celebrates the milestone of attracting 10 million spectators worldwide. A back street off Gyeongnidan-gil in SEOUL is where the trendsetters go these days. We'll show you what kind of fun and tasty treats are there. And no space to fit in all your household appliances or looking for price-efficient ones? Well, we've got some multi-purpose items to meet your demands on Korea Today, Wednesday, January 28, 2015.
From Arirang News, this is Korea Today.
And good morning and welcome to Korea Today on a Wednesday morning. I'm Kim In-jung alongside Jin-ju. We begin this morning in the Libyan capital of Tripoli, where militants have launched an attack at a hotel, killing at least 9 people, including some foreigners. And the Islamic State has since claimed responsibility for the attack, and there is a Korean among the casualty.
Right. However, Seoul's foreign ministry says the Korean casualty has not been confirmed yet, and Libyan authorities haven't confirmed the Korean casualty as well. We'll have more details on that on our international news, so stay tuned.
All right, we will get a look at today's domestic headlines, though. President Park Geun-hye says the country will nurture the southwestern city of Gwangju in Jeollanam-do province in hopes of turning it into a mecca for automotive startups in cooperation with Korea's leading automaker, Hyundai Motor. Attending the opening ceremony for an innovation center, the 5th of its kind, President Park revealed plans to support the hydrogen auto industry.
앞으로 광주를 자동차 산업 창업의 포탈로 발전시키고 대한민국을 수소 경제의 리더로 도약시킬 많은 용들이 이곳 광주 창조경제혁신센터에서 탄생하기를 기대합니다.
Hyundai Motor, the world's 5th largest automaker, also pledged to create a $164 million fund to develop the hydrogen fuel cell industry and to support small and mid-sized firms and venture companies for technological development. Korea plans to set up 12 other innovation centers in major cities across the country within this year as part of President Park's vision for a creative economy.
The U.S. ambassador to South Korea threw support behind Seoul's efforts to improve ties with the North, saying Washington has no concerns about the speed or scope of inter-Korean talks proposed by President Park Geun-hye. Speaking to reporters on Tuesday, Mark Lippert said the U.S. has faith in the South Korean government and there is no daylight between the two allies. He added that Washington will engage with the North only after Pyongyang is willing to take steps towards a complete, irreversible, and verifiable denuclearization. In regards to Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe hinting he may omit phrases of remorse for Japan's past wrongdoings from a statement set to be released in August, Lippert made it clear that the U.S. backs the Kono and the Murayama statements, which apologize for the country's wartime atrocities.
Korea ranked 29th among 178 countries in the Index of Economic Freedom, an indicator that evaluates countries in 4 policy areas that affect economic freedom, namely rule of law, government size, regulatory efficiency, and market openness. The Wall Street Journal and the Heritage Foundation think tank on Tuesday released the 2015 Index of Economic Freedom, which showed that Korea ranked 7th among 42 Asia-Pacific countries, moving up 2 notches from last year. Korea was found to rank high in freedom for corporate and finance activities and low in transparency and labor market. The U.S. was found to be the 12th freest economy, while Hong Kong, Singapore, and Switzerland ranked high on the list.
Now, drumming, dancing, banging with kitchen utensils is one of Korea's most popular and well-known productions, Nanta, or better known as cookin' in other countries. Now, this percussion stage performance has recently made history for being the most watched Korean production of all time, traveling all over the world. We have Arirang News' Connie Lee joining us live to tell us more about this 17-year-old show. Good morning, Connie.
Good morning, Chinju. So imagine this, around 19,000 kitchen knives and 2,070 cutting boards. Now, what am I talking about? Well, that's the total number of knives and cutting boards that were used for the show Nanta for the past 17 years. Now, here in Korea, there are 3 exclusive theaters for Nanta, and here this morning, I'm at one of them in Chungjeonglo, northern Seoul, where the 10 millionth viewer saw the show. Now, this homegrown production actually made history with that number, and as you'll find out in the report, the show also paved the way for many local productions to break into the global scene. Let's take a closer look.
It's a lot of drumming, banging, knife wielding, and slicing. Feel the beat? For many, it's a very familiar rhythmic production of Nanta. The show just made history, hitting the 10 million viewer mark at home and abroad at the end of last year. That makes Nanta not only the longest-running show in Korea, now in its 18th year, but also the most watched Korean production of all time.
For a local theatrical production to hit 10 million viewers, it's unheard of, something that's never been achieved. But Nanta did it. This gives hope to other locally made productions and shows there is potential for them too.
To mark this milestone, PMC Production, the firm behind the show, celebrated this week with industry veterans and congratulatory remarks from the culture minister. The original cast, the ones plastered on the trademark Nanta poster, were also honored. You might recognize some of them as they've moved on beyond Nanta. Actor Yoo Seung-ryong, who has had a recent string of hit movies, gave credit to his time as a Nanta performer.
My experiences from Nanta definitely helped hone my acting skills. I knew this show would make it big, really.
The nonverbal show about a group of chefs cooking up a storm for a wedding banquet came to life back in 1997 by this man, longtime actor turned producer and director Song Seung-hwan.
I was inspired by childhood memories of my mother making food in the kitchen. The sounds of the knife beating on the cutting board gave me joy. Maybe because it meant that good food was coming. I wanted to create a show that incorporated the traditional Korean rhythms of samulnori and thought the kitchen had a number of items that could create those beats.
He set his sights on the global stage from the beginning, and in 2 years, his show made its international debut in 1999 at one of the world's largest cultural events, the Edinburgh Fringe Festival. After winning the award for Best Performance, the show, also called Cookin' in the West, made headlines once again when it became the first Korean show on Broadway. Yes, that Broadway in New York City in 2003. And in the last 17 years, Nanta toured the globe and was shown more than 31,000 times in 289 cities and 51 countries around the world. Critics rave about the show's comedic, nonverbal features, its family-friendly nature, and the fun Korean beats that can get any crowd going.
Throughout the years, there have been many changes to the show, as we saw what worked with audiences and what didn't. We plan to continue to tweak the production as audiences change over time.
Today, it's not only a top-rated show to see, it's also a show that many young actors want to be a part of. Meet the newest Nanta performers who started training just 4 months ago. They have yet to hit the stage, but they're practicing 12 hours a day for their debut. It doesn't seem easy, though, to act and to stay in rhythm all at the same time. And as one of the main instruments used for the show being a kitchen knife, it looks like injuries are unavoidable.
One time I cut myself and started bleeding, but continued to play. But now I've gotten more friendly with the knife.
As new teams of actors continue to be part of the show, Nanta only seems to get bigger. Officials now have their eyes set squarely on China as a Nanta theater is set to be built in Guangzhou by June. So how about 100 million viewers for its next milestone? Officials say no problem.
When I first created the show, I didn't think it would last this long. But thanks to the reception we've had, we have made records. And today I see even greater opportunities for Korean-made productions to succeed even more abroad.
Now, the goal to reach 100 million viewers was actually suggested by the show producers themselves. And with the open run shows not only at the 3 theaters here in Korea, but also in Bangkok, Thailand, and soon enough in China, the number of people who will go watch Nanta will surely go up pretty fast. And as mentioned in the report, the record 10 million viewers is actually a very large number for Korea's performing arts industry. It's 10 million viewers for box office hit movies is quite normal here in Korea now, but for local theatrical productions, that number is seen as very difficult to reach. Jin-ju?
Right, but just looking at the numbers, you might think it's not that of a big deal, but as you said, it is a big number for a Korean stage performance. And I was just wondering, since the show is about cooking up a banquet, do they actually use real food, real ingredients?
Well, actually, Jin-ju, they do use real food. And to put things a bit in perspective, they actually have used hundreds and thousands of different vegetables over the past 17 years. Now, if you look at this fun little graphic here for the exact numbers, more than 300,000 cucumbers and around 125,000 onions, 219 cabbages, and more carrots than you could probably ever eat in your lifetime. And Jin-ju, if people do want to check out the show anytime soon, there is a special deal going on right now in light of the recent milestone. Now, for the month of February, if you purchase your tickets on interpark.com, you can get them half off at 20,000 won, which is about $18 US. So if you haven't checked out Nanta yet, next month might be a good time. Back to you in the studio.
Such an energetic show, I would say. Great stuff, Connie. Thank you for that. That was Arirang News' Connie Lee reporting on the most watched Korean production, Nanta.
Good morning. It's time to run through the front pages of your newspapers. Now, a mortgage product with an ultra-low interest rate at an annual 1% range that can be pursued by anybody regardless of income level will be available as early as this March. Let's have a look at this piece of news on 조선일보. At the top, and the headline says 1% range interest rate for home mortgages regardless of salary. Taking a look at these sub-headlines, the goal of the product is to lend funds at very cheap prices, but when housing prices eventually rise, homeowners will be able to share their gains with a bank. Now, the Ministry of Land, Infrastructure and Transport yesterday announced its business planning for 2015 and said that it would launch this product of profit-sharing bank mortgage come March and April as part of efforts to revitalize the housing market. And shifting from the housing market over onto the job market. This is on 동아일보, and things are not looking very bright, as the title says, a cold snap in the job market. It looks like big local firms are expected to cut their recruitments this year. A poll showed yesterday that leading conglomerates are likely to hire fewer new employees than last year, as there is no clear sign of an economic recovery. If we take a closer look at the poll, the survey was done by the Korea Chamber of Commerce and Industry, which canvassed the country's top 500 companies by sales. It found that of the 305 companies that responded, 41% of them have not yet come up with a hiring plan for 2015. In fact, 29 respondents said they have no plans to even recruit one single person this year, signaling the continuance of a youth unemployment crisis. Now, observers say that the domestic economy is predicted to recover to some extent this year, but companies have a conservative recruitment plan due to the unstable factors such as the conditions in emerging markets, as well as, of course, the Chinese economy. Now, another alarming piece of news on Gyeongnidan-gil. This one is about the poor, and the title reads, "Only 1 in 5 escape poverty." Now, those able to escape the poverty bracket last year has turned out to be at the lowest level since 2006, when the data first started being collected. And this actually means that it was a worse rate seen throughout the 8 years, which signals that this neglected class of people, including the elderly, disabled, or low-income farmers and fishermen, are becoming more and more permanently fixed and set in society, unable to escape their status of poverty. Finally, we'll go on to the Korea Economic Daily for another side article. This one is about free economic zones. And the headline says, Incheon and Saemangeum Gunsan FEZs to be designated regulation-free special zones. Now, the government has decided to designate the Incheon Free Economic Zone in Songdo and the Saemangeum Gunsan Free Economic Zone in Jeollabuk-do Province as regulation-free areas. Now, several high-ranking officials, they said that the government is pushing to outline measures to appoint these two areas as places free from all kinds of regulations, and that it will table a related special bill within the first half of this year. Now, that was a look at our local headlines this Wednesday, and following are the stock numbers from Tuesday.
And time now to get a check on today's weather conditions.
Let's go over to our Chun Sung-cho, who's standing by outdoors. Good morning, Sung-cho.
Good morning to you, Sung-cho.
Good morning, guys. This morning we're starting off with a cold snap that's chilling the entire nation. Currently it's -7 degrees Celsius here in Seoul, with the wind chill factor making it feel like -10 degrees. So I say you better dress warm on your way out this morning. Gyeongnidan Province especially is facing the harshest conditions. Cold wave advisories are in place for the mountainous areas where temperatures have plunged to as low as -14 degrees overnight. And on top of that, snow is expected to continue today as well around the coastal areas as frigid easterly winds move across the warm East Sea. It's going to release 5 to 10 centimeters of flurries over the eastern Gyeongnidan Province, so residents should definitely watch out for icy, slick road conditions today. All that snow on the ground will freeze under sub-zero temperatures, making travel a challenge in many places. And with that, let's take a closer look at today's temperature readings around the nation. Things are exceptionally cold over here in Seoul and Gangneung of Gyeongnidan Province. As you can see, mercury levels won't pass the freezing point even in the daytime. The southern regions will be a little bit warmer at 7 and 6 in Busan and Jeju. This is all for me with the weather forecast. Back to the studio, Jinju.
Now, we're keeping our eyes on the hotel attack in Tripoli, Libya, where at least 9 people, including 5 foreigners, have been killed. For more on the details of the strike, we join Eunice Kim at the News Center. Good morning, Eunice.
Good morning.
So we heard from Seoul's foreign ministry that Libyan authorities haven't confirmed reports of a Korean casualty. Tell us what happened.
Sure. Well, the Islamic State did confirm through a Twitter account of its Tripoli branch that this attack was their work and revenge for an al-Qaeda suspect who had died in the U.S. earlier this month, days before facing trial for bombing American embassies. Now, on Tuesday, gunmen had stormed the 5-star Corinthia Hotel in the North African country, running through the lobby and making it to the 24th floor of the hotel, which is a space frequently used for diplomatic and government meetings. Now, the gunmen detonated themselves when they were surrounded by security personnel. Guests were evacuated, as you can imagine, including Libya's prime minister and an American delegation. And as you mentioned, Jinju, AFP did report that 5 foreigners were among the dead, as well as 3 security guards. And among the foreigners were a Korean, an American, and a French national, and 2 Filipinas, according to a security official that AFP is citing. Again, we're waiting for confirmation from the Libyan government as well as Korea's Seoul foreign ministry on that. But that foreign official did tell AFP that the foreigners died when a car bomb was set off outside of the 5-star hotel. And staying with the Islamic State, the group has apparently released another video featuring the Japanese hostage Kenji Goto with a revised threat and deadline. In the 2-minute video posted on YouTube on Tuesday, an audio statement purportedly read by Goto says he has only 24 hours to live, and a Jordanian hostage, a pilot held by the extremists since December, even less to live unless an Iraqi female fighter is released. Now, Sajida al-Rishawi is an al-Qaeda militant sentenced to death and imprisoned for over a decade in Jordan for an attempted suicide attack that killed 60 people back in 2005. Tokyo is saying it is working on verifying that video as its delegation continues to coordinate with Jordan in secret talks on the ground.
Now, let's switch gears to Poland, where world leaders gathered with survivors of Auschwitz death camp. Tuesday marked the 70th anniversary since its liberation.
That's right. It's been 70 years. Auschwitz, of course, has become a symbol of the Holocaust. Some 1.5 million people are said to have died there at the hands of Nazi troops, and hundreds gathered on Tuesday to remember that dark spot in history. The presidents of Poland, Germany, and France joined some 300 Auschwitz survivors in a commemoration held at the site of the death camp in southern Poland. The emotional ceremony was marked by talks by survivors as well, one of whom challenged world leaders to remember the horrors of the Holocaust when addressing atrocities like those in Darfur and Kosovo, as well as the recent terror attacks in Paris that had targeted a kosher market where 4 Jews were killed. The event could mark one of the last major anniversaries attended by a significant showing of survivors, given that the youngest are now in their 70s. Some 1.5 million people, mostly European Jews, were gassed, shot, hanged, and burned at Auschwitz during World War II before its liberation in the winter of 1945.
All right. Thank you, Eunice, for that update.
Sure thing.
And stay with us on Korea Today. We're going to take you to Gyeongnidan-gil, just several blocks off the main strip at Itaewon. It's a quieter but equally hip street. Now, the up-and-coming star of Gyeongnidan is the so-called Chang Jin-woo Street. We've got the scoop coming up. You don't want to miss it.
Well, artists can make an everlasting impression with many of their works and make a name for themselves. Well, musicians leave an impression with their songs. And today we'll be looking at a musical that honors a deceased musician and his dedication to his work. And we will find out more with our Im Yoon-hee, who joins us. Good morning.
Good morning. So the late indie musician Lee Jin-won, he was the founder of the rather successful one-man band called Moonlight Nymph, the Grand Slam Homer. Now recently they've unveiled the curtains to a musical dedicated to the artist and his songs. Take a look.
On the rooftop of an apartment building, a few familiar songs float through the air. The musical Moonlight Nymph is like a jukebox, taking audiences back through the history of the late indie musician Lee Jin-won. Hobble, Acorns, and My Song are just a few of Lee's songs that make up the musical score for this energetic performance. In all, 10 songs from Lee's albums are included, but it's the memory of the dedicated musician and his one-man band, Moonlight Nymph, the Grand Slam Homer, that really strikes a chord on stage and keeps E's love for indie music alive.
If my memory serves me correctly, Lee Jin-won's death was rather sudden. He died of a heart attack, and it really shocked his fans.
It really did shake up the entire indie music industry. In fact, about 4 years ago, he passed suddenly due to a heart attack, like Min-jung said, and it caused a lot of debate because people started to look at and question the lifestyle and the living qualities of indie musicians. So it was alleged that E as an artist was paid very little. He was even paid in acorns, which is a cyber form of currency only used on SEOUL. So you can imagine, you can't really get a living off of this imaginary career. This,
totoris.
Right, totori, exactly. Right. So it was really hard for him as an artist, even though he enjoyed quite a few successful albums. But his music does live on through this musical.
Right, and now, these days, with the K-pop industry just sweeping the charts, I'm sure being an indie artist is equally, if not harder, to be one these days, huh?
Right, so an interesting dynamic, some pros and cons with that. When the K-pop initially did sweep across the globe, a lot of interest was diverted away from indie music here in Korea. But now with so much interest being looked at in Korean culture and Korean music, there's interest going back to Korean indie music as well. And so as a result, more funding has gone towards indie music and a lot more opportunities have opened up for these musicians. And on top of that, rock festivals seem to be very popular around the world these days. And so some Korean groups are being performed at these indie rock festivals.
You can call me boring. I don't know much about indie music. I'll never be mistaken for an indie music fan, I suppose. How is the industry doing now?
So nowadays, we've seen a lot of growth in the indie music industry. Like I said earlier, a lot of rock festivals have taken place here in the country as well. Some of the big festivals, the Busan Rock Festival, the Incheon Pentaport Rock Festival, along with the Ansan Valley Rock Festival. These are just a few that feature a lot of indie groups, indie music groups as well. And also, nowadays, there are a lot more opportunities because of the digital age, because of all this connectivity with all these online sites as well. And so a lot of musicians are getting more chances to express their creativity.
All right, maybe I'll check out the indie music industry sometime soon. Better late than never, right?
I'll give you some suggestions later.
All right, thank you so much, Yuni.
Always a pleasure.
All right, well, stay with us on Korea Today. We are going to take a look at some hot items that can help you save money and save space as well. Two of the most essential things if you're living in a small place, I suppose. Two key points that will most definitely catch the attention of the public. Hot Items brings you details on various multifunctional household appliances that won't break the bank, so stay tuned.
The Seoul city government is planning to expand its smoke-free zones to the streets this time.
And the health ministry will be offering financial assistance for people who are looking to kick the habit as well. We'll find out more with our Seomi Sorang, who joins us here in the studio. Good morning.
Good morning, that's right. So they're the latest in a series of changes happening this year to move towards a smoke-free Korea. So currently in Seoul, some of the pedestrian paths that receive a lot of foot traffic or are near schools or gas stations are designated smoke-free zones. They're marked by banners and road signs. But now the Seoul city government is pushing to make all pedestrian paths a smoke-free zone, slapping up to $90 in fines on those caught smoking. Meanwhile, here's an upside to those wanting to quit. The health ministry announced yesterday that it will subsidize the cost of counseling sessions, medication, and nicotine patches and gums, with the government paying between 60 to 90% of all associated costs.
So they're really pushing these smokers to stop smoking.
One more reason to quit smoking.
So when will these changes take effect?
Okay, so for this whole one, if the revised bill gets the go-ahead, if it gets the green light, we're looking at sometime as early as mid-April. And for the subsidies, the date is February 25th. So straight after the Seoul Lunar New Year holidays.
If these measures don't make you stop, I really don't know what will. So maybe time to stop out that cigarette.
Exactly, now or never. Meanwhile, the per capita consumption of rice has hit an all-time low last year. So if we have a look at this latest chart, the data from Statistics Korea, we can see that last year the consumption of white and brown rice fell down to 178 grams per person per day. Now, a bowl or a serving of rice is considered 100 grams of dry weight rice. So this, we're looking at a bit less than 2 servings per person per day. And also note how it's less than half of the average back in 1970.
Right. I think I myself is really contributing to this drop in rice consumption. I really
do you have a bowl of rice a day? And 2 bowls of rice? I think maybe 1 would be stretching.
And it's also because, you know, with the introduction of Western food since 1970, we're moving towards, you know, less of a rice-based meals and looking at alternatives. And experts are also pointing to an increased public interest in healthier alternatives to rice because the consumption of super grains and legumes have actually increased over the same period. And wrapping up, this is a cute little news, but if you ever cross, you know, as you walk along the streets of Seoul, if you come across a pretty flower or a plant or a tree that you don't know the name of, the Seoul City government can help you out because they've launched a new website. It's called at airgrow.seoul.go.kr. All you have to do is upload photos of the plant in question and an expert will have an answer for you ready in 7 days.
Wow. Wow, my daughter always manages to find the weirdest looking plant and asks me.
And you don't have the answer.
Well, now I know where to go.
Just pretend that I'll get back to you on it and then upload a photo.
But she'll forget it before they get back to me, so that's all good.
And it's maximum 7 days, so hopefully a bit earlier than that.
All right, thank you so much, Ms. Arirang.
You're welcome.
And a good Wednesday morning to you all as we kick things off with our ongoing 2015 Asian Cup coverage as the host nation Australia faced off against the UAE on Tuesday with the winner set to play against Korea on Saturday for the Asian Cup final. And what do you know, it didn't take long for Australia to get on board as Trent Sainsbury scores just 3 minutes into the match, giving Australia the early 1-0 lead. But we're not done yet. Less than 10 minutes after that, as Jason Davidson this time make that 2-0 Australia. We're not even done with the first 20 minutes of the match. And what do you know, that's all the scoring here the rest of the way as Australia advances to the final with the big match against Korea set for this Saturday. Now, aside from Korea's first trip to the Asian Cup final in 27 years, the other major sports news in the nation are the ongoing reports of Park Tae-won testing positive for steroids. And now he's set to face an international hearing. Now, with the Olympic swimmer failing a test administered by the international swimming governing body, the state prosecutors in Seoul reported that Park received a testosterone injection at the hospital last July. And while the doctor who administered these shots stated that the contents of the injection would be safe, the prosecutors may now charge the doctor of professional negligence. Meanwhile, according to a World Anti-Doping Agency official, Park's penalty will be determined after a hearing with FINA. The PGA season is in full swing, but Korea's Bae Sang-moon's season might come to an end before the end of this week. That's because his military issue hasn't been resolved and he's told to return to Korea. With the 29-year-old unable to receive extension on his overseas visa, he's been asked to return to Korea before the 30th of this month. And while it doesn't seem like the two-time PGA Tour winner is listening to the request, the Daegu Regional Military Manpower Office made it clear that if he doesn't return by the requested date, he will have to face the prosecutors. Meanwhile, he's still set to compete this weekend at the Phoenix Open. Now, the 2015 MLB season is still about 2 months away now, as baseball fans in the nation are looking forward to Ryu Hyun-jin's third year with the Dodgers. Of course, his first 2 years were pretty good as he's already won 28 games, but did you know he's #1 when it comes to holding the runners in the past 2 years? Well, it's true, as stats show that in the past 2 years, there's been 578 base runners on base with an opportunity to steal a base, but only 6 runners have actually attempted to steal a base. Now that comes out to an astonishing 96.3% base runner hold rate and #1 in the past 2 seasons. Now, it is an overlooked stat for many as his ability to hold the runners actually prevents more runs from scoring. And that's going to wrap it up for me. This has been SJ. Have a great rest of the day and see you guys again for your sports needs.
Now, this street in Itaewon is the place to see and to be seen. It's the Chang Jin-woo Street in Itaewon. Have you guys checked that out?
Not yet.
No, right?
But maybe
you guys
after
are
today.
boring, but we're going to check it out with our Joey joining us. Good morning, Albright.
Good morning, good morning. It's a pleasure to be here today. So, Gyeongnidan-gil in Itaewon Street is a homely yet exotic, an amazing, trendy yet simple place to go. Here, it's quite a charming little street, and there are many unique and special things that you can see there. So let's go check it out. Gyeongnidan-gil in Itaewon is an area packed with foods from around the world and fun stores. And an art gallery next to Gyeongnidan-gil known as Chang Jin-woo Street is quite the buzz these days. We're here in Itaewon looking for an up-and-coming hot place simply known as Chang Jin-woo Street. But where is it?
Where is it and who is he?
It's an alley almost hidden deep in the residential area, so it wasn't easy for me to find, yet other people seem to know the way pretty well.
I heard it was quite difficult to find to go to Chang Jin-woo Street.
The official name of the street is Gyeongnidan-gil, but it is more widely known as Chang Jin-woo Street. There's even a wooden sign at the start of the alleyway.
Oh. So I guess this guy owns the alley.
As you can see, it's an alleyway filled with houses and it's tranquil, but it's still an upcoming hotspot.
Don't quote me on that though.
It was once a quiet street, but news of the store's
I heard
opening
about
brought
Chang Jin-woo Street and searched for it online.
When I first came here 2 years ago, it wasn't as active as it is now. It has become a popular spot for young people.
Just 3 years ago, it was an ordinary back street in an old residential area with a small grocery stores and hardware stores lining the sides. It all started with a small restaurant about 33 square meters wide that opened here in 2011. The restaurant is called Chang Jin-woo Street, or Chang's Kitchen, and it is named by the owner's friends.
Wow.
That's all? Stores. Wow.
One of the characteristics that made this alley unique is that there is no typical store sign, but rather each store is distinguished with a different color. It looked like a great way to bring out the accents of the old back street. Chang Jin-woo Street has always had just one table. The point is to share the table with strangers, and there's a reason for this unique concept.
It's a one-table restaurant with a different menu each day. With a full wall window and an open kitchen, it's a place that shows everything and is welcoming for everyone.
He is Chang Jin-woo.
Is he?
The famous Chang Jin-woo.
Since there's no set menus, you have to see the day's menu to order. The kitchen is also wide open, and you can see what they're making, as well as even smell the food. The wait's not boring at all, and today's menu was a garlic stem cream bacon risotto. Thank you for the meal. All of the ingredients bought on the day are used up the day of. The food was delicious, perhaps partly thanks to the fresh ingredients. With a full stomach, I decided to take a look at another popular spot in the street. Known as the Flower Bakery, this shop is full of various baked goods, and dried flowers and leaves are hanging from the ceiling. It's kind of pretty.
The bakery is decorated with flowers, so it's pretty and it naturally lifts my spirits.
As the alley becomes famous, other unique and interesting stores popped up. There are places with particular light fixtures and scented candles, and even a gallery where you can enjoy a bit of art and culture. The art was really pretty. A record store on the street was busy with customers as well.
I really like it. It's great. It's a nice little area. It's got some really great shops and everything all around. So it's neat to see a record store in Seoul. You don't see that very often.
This is another very unique place, miles apart from the typical old vinyl shop. Some 5,000 vinyl records fill up the room, which is sure to lure music enthusiasts. You can also listen to different kinds of music here, including those from pop albums of the 1970s and 80s.
At this vinyl store, there is a very wide selection of music, and it's very tranquil and mesmerizing.
Oh, the nostalgia.
Exactly. Sipping coffee and listening to the songs I selected and looking out the window, I could tell what made the street really popular.
Aww, this song is classic.
This is the restaurant Grand Blue, and it's known for its drastic transformation after dark. At night come the performances. Curtains are drawn near the entrance and exits, and during the performance, you are not to order or leave at all.
Wow, it's like a little small house party.
For sure. Normally it's a regular restaurant, but 2 to 3 times a week, live jazz music and surprise indie music performances are brought in for customers. And to add ambiance to the classiness of the already beautiful restaurant.
Here there's so many unique restaurants and special shops with unique interior designs. It's truly a quaint little charming street.
It's so interesting that a single person can start this and call it his alley. It's like 어진주
back street.
Right. But checking out these small alleys and back streets is becoming like a trend almost. And in fact, the trend analysis report by Seoul National University picked checking out alleys, back streets as one of the key trends in the year 2015.
Yeah, it's quite interesting because there are 2 really up-and-coming alleyways. One of them is Gyeongnidan-gil in Mapogu, and it started by a guy just opening up a simple Thai restaurant. His name was Lee Dong-hyuk. And one of the interesting things is as soon as he opened up that restaurant, many other restaurants like a Mexican restaurant, a bakery run by Japanese bakers, and a traditional Chinese restaurant opened up, creating a global alleyway. Another area is Sangsu-dong, and that was originally a residential area, but it was turned into a cafe street frequented by couples. So these are only some of the small and up-and-coming alleyways.
These are really hip places to go.
Isn't that Thai restaurant in Gyeongnidan-gil one of your favorite places?
Yes, the food is so good in Gyeongnidan-gil. The one it's called Tuk Tuk, but
that's funny.
It's really
amazing.
good. The food there is absolutely.
You have to make a reservation though. It's long lines otherwise. But you know, I've noticed the interior and the concept of each store was very unique, but the food. Food looked amazing. I'm assuming we can eat it all at the Chang's Kitchen?
Yeah, at Chang's Kitchen, of course, you can order, but the menu varies day to day, and it's a seasonal menu. So one of the unique things, though, is sometimes they have group reservations, so they don't accept walk-ins at all if you have a group reservation. But one of the things I really found interesting was all you have to do is go to their Facebook page and check to see if they have a reservation. If they don't, you can just show up. So it's quite convenient.
Interesting. So let's all hold hands and check out these streets. It's the in thing to do. It's the it thing to do these days.
For sure, for sure.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
Yep.
And finally, time to check what's trending or what's hot this week. So what are you going to show us today?
Well, we've got a bunch of cool items here. Now, these days, the rise of single-person and two-person households are definitely something that's going on across the nation. So people are interested in not only price efficiency, they're interested in space efficiency and having some devices that can do multiple things in one single unit, and that's what we're going to be looking at on today's hot items. As you can see, we've got a lot of tasty things cooking, but first I want to bring your attention right over here to the all-in-one smart kitchen appliance by Coma. Now this is a multi-purpose kitchen unit that really can do it all.
Well, it just looks like a small kitchen to me with a few drawers at the front. What's so special about this one?
So why don't we take a look at a video right now to show all of the different functions of this particular device by Coma. It's got everything going on here. Check this out. It's got the stovetop, of course, and it's got a water purifier. You can see boiling some water. You can boil some ramyeon perhaps, or cook some food there. It's got an overhead hood system that helps with ventilation.
Oh, wow.
It's got a coffee maker. You can go ahead and use the purified water right there with the coffee too. Make yourself a little Americano or something like that. It's got a water boiler there for tea or anything else you might need as well. And it's got a convection oven.
Even an oven.
Go ahead and roast a chicken. How about that? All at the same time. So you can see the chicken cooking there. Very nice. So it's basically like a whole kitchen all in one single device. But wait, there's more. There's a microwave right here as well. So you've got your microwave. Underneath the microwave, you've got a space for a rice cooker with a separate plug. Make up some rice. And in addition to that, you've got a host of other features as well. A toaster, a mixer, and even going so far as to have an antibacterial dishwasher as well, or a dish rack. So you're looking at everything that could exist in even a massive kitchen, but all put down to one small device. So why don't we step over here? And this is it as well.
It's the same version, just in a different color?
Yes, a different color, but we've got all of the devices enabled right here. So we can turn it on very simply. We can cook. Oh, the toast is ready. That wasn't even planned. Look at that. So we've got the toaster, the mixer. We've got this right here, which you can go ahead and, you can fry an egg on. We've got the water purifier. We've got the coffee. And
how many appliances are this? This is
11.
Ridiculous. 11
yes.
in one.
There's 11 in one. So we actually have a chicken cooking in there. Very nice. And we have a microwave here with a pizza inside.
Oh, wow.
As you can see. So we really have thought of everything, haven't we, on today's hot item.
What's great about these is that, I hate it when there's so much clutter around in my kitchen. But with these, as soon as you're done, you can just close the door, out of sight, out of mind.
Exactly.
Everything looks clean.
And a few other things to note, this does not need a power strip and multiple plugs. In fact, all these devices run on only a single plug, except for the rice cooker, of course, which has its own plug down there.
Single plug, that makes me worried though, because if it's running on a single plug, I'm assuming there might be problems with overheating,
Yeah, that is a concern, but there's no worries. Not only is it past every electrical certification, but also it has a built-in cooling system that activates automatically. There is 4 different heat sensors all over the device. Now those heat sensors become activated as soon as it detects that it's becoming too hot. When that occurs, the cooling systems kick in and take care of it for you. The overhead hood system right here is also the same. It provides ventilation, and it will also automatically turn on when it's needed, preventing not only too much smoke, but also, of course, eliminating odor as well. So it really does do everything, which
very
is
important
cool.
because in small confined spaces where this would be useful, odor can build up so quickly.
Absolutely. It's also got wheels on the bottom, so once it's already assembled, it's easy to move around. And in addition to that, it's just an awesome device to have in your kitchen. Very space efficient and not too expensive from what I've heard as well.
Okay. And you know what I've noticed though? What is this? It has bass. Is this a speaker on top of it? All this?
It has a speaker and it has a radio as well. There's a radio antenna.
12 in 1 then.
Basically, there's a radio antenna that comes out the back too, so you can also listen to music, which is similar to another device we'll be looking at in just a moment. But coming up next, you can smell
something delicious.
Yes.
I smell ramyeon.
We'll step behind here.
I can see steak.
So people can see better. Yes. Ooh, the fan is automatically activated
it's because you walk past the odor.
Yes, I'm too. No, it's because I'm so hot. It needed to cool me off. So what we have right here is the multi-cooker by L'Equipe.
You know, I think I've seen this around in the first level of department stores.
Right, yeah. Oh, I've seen these as well. And these are a very popular item among families, of course, because they make the cooking process a whole lot more easier. There's so many different things you can do with this device. Now, why don't we take a look at a video right now to explain a little bit more about the multi-cooker from L'Equipe. You can see it right here. Now, it's got multiple different components as well, and depending on what you want to do, fry, steam, or any of the other things that you want to do with it, it's got different add-ons that you can attach that all come with the device. Of course, you can deep fry, you can pan fry, you can steam with it, you can make fried rice with it. In fact, it has 8 different cooking modes altogether.
So we're all about multifunction today. 11 in 1, 8 in 1. I think this will make the perfect housewarming gift.
It really would, absolutely.
You just need to give one and then you're all set.
Right. And you can see right here we've got some steak. It looks very nice. I don't know if the camera can pick it up. Too bad for you guys if you can't see it, but it looks really good. Now, the reason the food in here is so savory is because of a silicone ring that traps in the heat and the moisture while it's cooking. We have a little budae-jjigae going on over here as well. So that silicone ring helps to trap in the moisture and makes the food taste that much better as well. Yes. So very good, very cool item. And now you were speaking of music.
Speaker.
There's a speaker over there. The reason I didn't highlight that so much is because we've got something a little bit more impressive in terms of music and speaker function. This is the all-in-one Bluetooth speaker called Blue Cube. Blue Cube. I was thinking of Blue's Clues for a second there. Blue Cube by DS International. And this is an all-in-one Bluetooth speaker device.
Okay, so can you turn it on for us?
Well, yes, I can. I think it's time for a little music, perhaps. Okay, so here we have the video showing all the different functions of the device that is possible. So it's very easy to connect using Bluetooth. You simply use the menu, search for a Bluetooth-enabled device, and it will go ahead and search for any devices within 1 meter. Now, once it picks those up, you can go ahead and play the music off them. We're talking everything from smartphones to PC tablet devices and everything in between. Now, the device also has an alarm function and a radio. It's also got an alarm function where you can use the radio to wake you up, or perhaps your favorite tune
That's
as well.
really great, because I hate, the blaring alarms on our phones.
Yeah.
That can be a really nasty, rude awakening.
Especially when we wake up at such a ridiculous hour to
at
do
3
this
a.m.
show.
So waking
you get up at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
Wow,
So
I'm
waking
lucky.
up to peaceful music would be a nice change.
That would be really nice, or maybe some rock music if you want to get energized and jump out of bed right away. Yeah, exactly. So this also has a USB attachment so that you can recharge devices with it. So it's really cool, a great thing for parties. Now, the most important thing, of course, about any sort of speaker system is the sound. Now, why don't I go ahead and play a little bit of music here? I'm not sure how loud the volume will be right now at the moment. Is it coming out of the speaker? So basically, it's a little loud, so I'll turn it off, but it's the speakers themselves, placed on separate sides, have a wide range spectrum of sounds, and they're also of very high quality, so that they tend to fill up a room, even a fairly large room, and no matter where you're standing in the room, you're going to get the same sound quality and you're going to hear the same sound.
Pretty amazing
as well.
for such a small device.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right, guys, I want to invite you guys to enjoy some of the steak that
We've got
Jessie made.
We've got budae-jjigae. We could even make some coffee. Wait a minute, check this out. Let's see if this works.
You know, the good thing about this is that you can make quite a number of dishes all at once.
Going at the same time.
Especially when we've got 4 cooks in the kitchen.
Exactly.
You know, Ginger can fry an egg.
This is a housewarming gift for my housewarming party I'm throwing tonight.
Okay.
In fact.
Oh, wow. Okay. Short notice.
This stuff is really nice. Oh, interesting. All right. Well, thank you, Jessie, for that. And Misorang.
Thank you.
All right. Well, that's just about it for this edition of Korea Today.
We'll be back at 7 a.m. tomorrow on Thursday. Have a great day.
Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.